Wham, 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 wham. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another Wednesday night toy talk with yours truly and a super awesome special guest. Love my guests. I really do, because huge part of the community, and that's what makes the world go round. And I love everybody that hangs out with us on Wednesdays. And thank you guys for making Wednesdays fun for me. So that being said, my guest tonight is the eclectic, enigmatic, phantom troublemaker himself, all the way from Needless Things. It is Dave West. What's up, dude?
What's up, man? I'm not nearly as enigmatic as I used to be. I used to literally wear a luchador mask for everything
I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So it's different, man. It's great to be here. And I will say this right now. We got to get an intro. That is epic.
Nice.
I need a video intro. I'm going to have to make that happen.
I'm a huge fan of doing that stuff. Like I love making intros, and I've sort of moved into making custom intros for every show. Like, even if it's just like,
oh wow,
your logo flashes up or something like that, I'll always change something in an intro.
Wow, nice.
I have a little bit of something. Yeah.
I have a tendency of once I've like worked something up, I'm just like, okay, that's good. I got to do another thing now. Leave that alone. We're going to use that for like 18 years, and then maybe we'll refresh at some point.
Yeah, I get weird like that. I'll sit alone in my Joe room. This is kind of like my little happy place, and I'll just mess around in my editor, man. And I'm like, I want to make a specific outro for that show, and I'll just sit here and do it.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah. So I want to say hi to everybody in the chat super quick, because they're the ones that make our shows fun. So JLS Comics is here. He was an hour early, so to be early is to be on time, right? Samuel Edwards is here. M Vargo's here, so thanks for being here, buddy. Curb Stomp's here. Laser Pants Ryan is here with the Salasige. I don't know, whatever. Roll Keeper's here. What's up? Eric's here. Eric says hello there, Chad and chat. And Dave. Skyfall's in the house. Bear 11 Charlie is here. Matt Noon's here. And all the way from the UK, we got George Aiken. Very cool. So, Dave, what's been new? What's going on?
I'll tell you what's going on is, so you've been using StreamYard for quite some time.
Day one.
Audible Interlude, we just switched from Zoom to StreamYard, literally with Monday's live stream.
Oh, you mean Audible Interlude?
Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. And hey, Chad, that's a nice shirt you got on there.
Why, it sure is. Thank you. Is this the exclusive 2023 Joe Fest shirt?
Yeah, it sure is. No longer available. Yeah. You all not even know. I mean, you could only get it from Joe Fest, so it was even like very, very limited. But
because it wasn't shady enough. You had like a duffel bag full of them.
Hey, it's Rachel. I know Rachel. Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, Rachel's awesome.
So with the StreamYard, is there a way to make this white background that's glaring into my glasses and the people can't tell what my eyes are doing? It's a nightmare. Like, I got to figure out different angles or something. I got to do something about this glasses glare, because I can't roll without the glasses. There's got to be an answer, people. People in the comments, tell us, what do we do about these glasses? Oh, look, you got no glare. Is your monitor like up here or something?
No, my monitors are dead in front of me.
Really?
Huh. Well, I turned my light. See if I just turned my light away. Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to play with this. This is not the time.
That's why I never wear my glasses.
No, you've got like a little tiny bit right at the top. Mine are just bam, right in front of my eyeballs. But this is not the time or the place to talk about glasses glare. We've got other things to discuss.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about, man? I'm up for talking about. You can see, hey Casey, what's up, man? Podcast from the pit rules.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see I've got stuff back here.
So Dave,
a couple things. Yes, sir.
Do you like stuff?
Stuff is awesome. I like stuff. I like activities. Activities rule. Things and stuff.
Eric doesn't know how to help your problem.
We appreciate your thoughts and prayers, though.
Yeah. James from Ratface44 is here. What's up, dude? Good to see you. So you collect all sorts of lines, right? You're not a
A lot.
focused guy like me. You're all over the place.
I have control issues. Yes.
Yeah.
I have here. Let's do here's fun. Okay, so this I just bought that way overpriced Target exclusive Boba Fett
Yep.
sitting on
Yeah,
my
I
desk.
saw him.
I've also got Earthworm Jim hanging out right there.
Yep.
Let's see,
Not Top Goon.
there's Chamber.
Yeah.
Just everything. Oh, this is a prize piece right there. Blue Demon Jr.
Yeah.
from Super 7. I like cool stuff. And what's funny though is as much stuff as I still collect. Who you got? Whose knees? Dude, I just
An
bought
incinerator.
here. So he's post my time in Joe. My time with G.I. Joe came to a close in 1988 when I bought
Same.
Storm Shadow version 2.
Yep.
And really it ended in 87, but I remember getting that Storm Shadow. So everything after 88 over the past 3 years of doing Audible Interlude, I've been like discovering that stuff. I've was aware of it because I was still collecting. I went from Joe to Ninja Turtles to Toy Biz Marvel to I never stopped collecting, but Joe for me ended right around 88. But discovering some of the awesome stuff that came out after I started collecting. So Incinerator popped up on, Joe a Day, right?
Yeah.
joeaday.com.
Yep.
I got addicted to that site because it was one of the few sites my job didn't block.
Yeah.
Right. So he popped up on Joe a Day, and I was like, "This thing is awesome!" Immediately went on eBay and bought one. Complete
Has a little
the
flaming
giant
trebuchet and everything.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm that's part of my joy of Joe right now is discovering that stuff.
Yeah.
Because my taste, it's funny when I was a kid. Or not when I was a kid, but when Tiger Force and Python Patrol were hitting, like I said, I was still aware of Joe. I couldn't stand that stuff. I was like, what is this gaudy, awful looking stuff? But now I love bright colors, toyetic looks. I dig it.
Toyetic, that's the word, right?
That is the word.
That is the word. Speaking of which, not Top Goon, what are we talking about, fellas? Toys? Cool stuff? We're talking about stuff, dude. Stuff. And Wilhelm's here. What's up, buddy? Says hello, Chad, Dave, and everyone in the chat. Very cool.
What's up, Wilhelm?
Oh, yeah. And then Embargo says, we're talking about toxic stuff. Yeah. Toxic toy tubers. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some stuff. Just Jeff is here. It says listening and cooking. Salute. There's a salute for you,
I
Jeff.
salute you, Just Jeff. I wish I enjoyed cooking.
I like cooking, but it's to me it's an atmosphere thing. I like cooking with my wife.
Yeah.
When the ma'am's not here, I'm just like, sandwich it is.
Yeah, I'm neither me nor the missus are big fans of cooking at all, which is of course terrible. But what are you gonna do?
It's terrible, but it's not because you're on the same level.
That's true. That's at least we do have it in common. There's no we both agree.
Yeah, the ma'am and I are both we are staunchly traditional Italians. And we're all about that cooking, So.
Yeah.
Not Top Goon says I'm more of a loner when I cook. So welcome to Cooking with Chad and Dave.
That's right. Who knew? Who knew this is where we would end up? But hey, I'm ready for it.
We're talking about how you have to brown the butter first.
I'm going to talk about how you have to peel the plastic off the lasagna before you put it in the microwave. That's what I'm going to talk about. Just the right thing to say to that traditional Italian, right?
Yeah. A long time ago, I had someone try to make me lasagna and phoned a friend and said, "Hey, do I have to cook the pasta before I put it in the oven?" And I was like, "You know what? I'll just do it." Like I'll just cook it. Don't worry, just hang out. It is weird. What are you drinking there?
I've got a little Broken Skull American Lager, Stone Cold Steve Austin from the El Segundo Brewery. I've got 2 of these left from Monday night.
Very cool.
You can't go too crazy on a work night.
Nice. I'm drinking my usual black tea. That's all I ever drink. So
that's good. Caffeine keeps you going, keeps you focused.
Yeah. Well, I was gunning some coffee earlier. George Aikens says made a traditional Scottish breakfast today. Very cool. Oh, see, now we're talking about food.
It is cooking. Oh, cheeseburger
Bear
mac.
11
Nice.
Charlie says cheeseburger mac is my specialty. Bear 11 Charlie, where do you rank chili mac in the MREs? And then Curb Stomp says sweet tea with lemon. Okay, I can't really do sweet tea, but Ostradamus, what's up, Oz? How you doing? Glad you're here.
I can't do sweet tea either. Years ago, well, let's see, 2011 probably. I got a kidney stone.
Oh,
Midnight Saturday night at Dragon Con. If you don't know Dragon Con, it's a big, huge convention, Southeast, fan run. Awesome time, party 24/7. But anyway, midnight, just pain hits. We go to the emergency room in downtown Atlanta. First thing the nurse said to me was, "Do you drink a lot of sweet tea?" I was like, "What?"
Uh-huh.
And she says, "We really don't know what causes them, but it has been correlated to sweet tea." And I have not had a drop since then because, my gosh, if you've never had a kidney stone, you don't want one.
I haven't, but I have seen someone pass stones, and that's terrible.
It's the nurse told me, she said, I have experienced kidney stones and I have experienced natural childbirth, and I would rather go through natural childbirth again. And I have not experienced natural childbirth, so I can't speak to that. But I don't want any more kidney stones.
That's our show for tonight.
That's our show. Cooking and kidney stones. Tips to bring home to the family.
Kidney stones are hell.
Horrible.
Cajun rice and beans was your favorite MRE? I'm going chili mac, beef stew. That new beef taco is awesome. The pizza sucks. Master Versal Toy Hunter, what is up? Says, hey there, Chad, sir. Good evening. How are you? Glad to see you. Yeah, now everybody's talking about kidney stones.
They're horrible. That's how bad they are. Is like, even though you hate them, if somebody brings it up, you have to commiserate. You have to be like, yes, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm have to get the Price is Right gong on my.
Oh yeah, I got all sorts.
That's
so
fantastic.
Let's we're gonna get away from all that.
You want to switch gears?
Yeah. Oh, you please? Can we? May we please? Hold on, wait.
Yes.
Cat
Okay.
Bros.
See, now,
Cat Bros.
Now that was the problem, is our heads weren't aligned before. So we've got this kidney stone sweet tea talk, but now we can talk about Skeletron and this Robo Skull Mark II.
Did you back it?
Oh yeah. Dude, not only did I back it, I backed it, and then they kept showing like, well, hey, we're going to do this figure. I was like, well, I guess I need one of those too. And then I got, yeah, let's stay with, yeah. Well,
so anyway, natural.
Yeah. So yeah, that I was. What's up, Backwoods 78? I was like, oh, Robo Skull, it's incredible. Like I again am still learning things from outside of my childhood experience of G.I. Joe. So I didn't know anything about the Robo Skull. I didn't know anything about the Action Force releases, any of that stuff. Red Shadows, none of it. I'm learning about all of that over the past 3 years. But that Robo Skull looked incredible. So I backed it, and then they kept showing, and I was like, well, I gotta have the Wolf Trooper, I gotta have the Skeletron, I've got to, and now I don't have one of everything, but I've got one of way more than I intended to have. And did you see the picture they just shared of the pilot? I think it's the final tooling for the pilot, or it was a fully painted.
Yep.
Oh man, I'm so excited for that thing, and they can take their time with it. It doesn't bother me a bit.
I really appreciated it. And I had them on last week. Somebody help me out. Did I have them on?
I think it was a couple
week?
Weeks ago, wasn't it? Because I think, was Retro Blasting last week?
No, they were.
Or was that longer ago?
They
might be out of order in my feed.
I don't know. I don't know. Like 8 times a day I have to go, what day is it? I can look at my phone.
Well, that's one of the issues though with doing stuff like this is, we do it. We have this conversation live, and we're engaged. We're into it. and then somebody will watch it 3 weeks from now and be like, hey, an hour and 20 minutes in, you said this. And I'm like, I don't even remember what we talked about at this point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Will says it was last week that they were on. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch that one because I am a huge Robo Skull enthusiast at this point.
Everything about that line is just, it's a love letter to Palitoy, to Action Force, the whole 9 yards, and the red, or the Blood Wolf, not the Red Wolf. He has Bob Breakin's head under the helmet because he was the designer of the original Robo Skull for Palitoy, and on and on and on, and everything is just cool. And they did that. They call it like Gry. I thought it was Geyer, but Gry Wolf, and it's for Gary Head, Gary Goggles. So it's like, in honor of him. Which as soon as they did that, I was like, oh man, you're getting me. And I had already backed it, and once I just saw more and more, I started backing more.
That's like what I did.
It's just a snowball effect.
The backer kit went up, and I did my initial thing, and then I just kept going back to it. I was like, no, man, I don't want to, because that FOMO, because some of it's going to be available to a certain extent.
What the hell is
production?
Even that? Yeah,
but it's like, I want to get in on it, and having a toy review channel, I want to get the stuff as soon as I can too. So there's that factor.
I guess I've reviewed toys, I guess, if that's what you want to call it, but generally I just unbox them and put them together and say a couple things about them. I don't know if that's the same thing. I don't really perceive it as that.
And that's really more, I'm not a huge fan of the word, because I always say unboxing, and I hated that word at first.
Yeah.
Because it's such a hashtaggy word, and
it's like the word iconic,
Right. It's just, but that is what I do, is I unbox it, because my enjoyment, like the reason I want to do the videos I do, is the fun of discovery, opening that thing up, seeing what it looks like in hand, what all it comes with. Because like when I pre-order something, I barely even look at, like, if I know I want it, like if I'm getting Tunnel Rat, the new classified Tunnel Rat, I know I want it. I'm not going to sit there and pore over all the renders and everything, because I want to open the box, get it out, see what it looks like,
Bye, Rachel.
Later, Rachel.
Sorry, you were saying?
Well, Rachel's like, she's like a G.I. Joe wiki. It's wild.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She knows her stuff.
But yeah, I just, I like that experience, the tactile experience, rather than sitting and looking at the computer screen and saying, okay, it's going to come with a suppressor and a pistol and a sniper rifle and a backpack and 2 like, I try not to do that too much.
Agreed.
So yeah, it's really more of that experience than actually reviewing, although you end up reviewing it because you're like, oh, look, Lowlight's shoulders have giant caverns in them.
Yeah, I commented on that.
Yeah, you did.
I did.
So let's talk. Okay, I want to talk about that. So you're not a fan. You're not a fan of 1/12 scale, is the impression I got from the comment.
No.
And I don't, as much as I collect it, I don't disagree with you, because, and look, classified to me hits a certain sweet spot, but in general, the double jointed elbows are out of control. They mess up the profile of the figure, in my opinion. The double jointed knees. So many of these lines are not concerning themselves with the proportions. They're so concerned about the articulation. Like when I collect wrestling figures too, every wrestling figure to me looks like, Patrick from SpongeBob. There's that one meme image of him with the really long legs with like the fishnets on. Every wrestling figure that Mattel puts out looks like that to me, because the legs are like twice the length of the body, because they have to have those double jointed knees.
Yeah. Anthony Romo's here. What's up, dude? Good to see you.
George Aitken says 6 inch is not a world building line. That's 100% correct, but not everybody wants to world build.
And that's 100% correct as well.
Not everybody needs to do it with every line they collect. And that also is a really good point. I never wanted 1/12 scale Joes or Star Wars, because to me, the vehicles and the play sets, growing up in the 80s, I was born Right. I was born in 76. So Star Wars, G.I. Joe, my bread and butter. The vehicles were just part of it. It wasn't even, there wasn't even a question of like having just figures.
Yeah.
And I don't, I'm backing everything from classified because I want those HasLab pieces. I love G.I. Joe and I'll buy pretty much whatever comes out. But if Hasbro called me up and says, Dave, we're going to make a whale, do you want 1/18 scale or 1/12 scale? I'm going 1/18 scale.
Yeah, 1/18 scale, and do the freaking Battle Corps Ranger Seawolf, pretty please. Do that one.
Oh my gosh.
That we never got in 95.
I had such, dude, I want the desert headquarters they were going to do?
Yes.
I'd buy that in a second. With the desert repainted figures that were supposed to accompany it. Man, all that stuff. I had such high hopes for the O-Ring relaunch. And then apparently I don't know what the story is. I think the customer base wasn't as there as they thought it would be.
Are you talking about the O-Ring relaunch like now? Like
from Hasbro.
Yeah, but it's kind of one of those things like if you only put out 2 packs and it's 2 packs of figures that they're the most common so people have them, and then you don't put them in stores. If you only make 5 of a thing and you're like, well, we didn't sell that many. It's like,
we only sold 5. Yeah. Well, and see, that's where I've had a couple. I try not to rant too much because I generally want to be.
Oh, you're in the right fucking place for that. Let's go. Let me hear it.
I try to be enthusiastic and positive most of the time, but
sure, but you got to be like, if you have a feeling, like, let it out, man.
Those drop down hips are so unnecessary, in my opinion. So the what drives me crazy is if you look at, because I'm collecting Masters of the Universe Origins.
Yep,
I love it. I think it's one of the best retail toy lines of all time. And if you look at the way Mattel handled that, it's infuriating to look at how Hasbro handled O-Ring.
Yeah.
Do we curse here? Can we do that?
Yeah, just let it fly.
Okay. We don't, I stopped doing it on my channel a while ago.
I just did like a second ago. Go ahead.
Oh, you did? Okay. So
I appreciate you asking, but please, by all means, fucking
Hasbro, what the fuck are you doing? Do you not see He-Man and Man-at-Arms? And look, I've got vac metal figures from Mattel on my shelf. Give me a fucking Super Trooper, baby.
No.
It's wild to me that, because Origins was on shelves before Hasbro put out a single new O-Ring.
Yep.
They already
were
had
only on
blueprint.
And they were only on Pulse.
Okay, I'll be honest about that. The only on Pulse doesn't bother me, and I understand we're talking about MOQs and stuff like that.
Well, that doesn't bother me either. What bothers me is if it's only on Pulse, and then the argument is they didn't sell because it was engineered that way.
Right.
If you engineer scarcity, don't be surprised when you don't sell the fucking numbers that you could have.
Yes, and that's, we'll never have MO2 Masters Universe Origins. Incredible. And I'm gonna say something crazy here that I don't even know if I believe yet, but I just got the new Snake Mountain. I think I like the Origins Snake Mountain more than the classic Snake Mountain. Maybe.
Mean Geeks live made it. Yeah, buddy. And then Robert's Infinite Realms is here. Hey, Chad, sorry to be late. Had to work a bit late. Never apologize for being late. At least you're here, and we appreciate it. And work comes first, right?
Never apologize for making that money, because if we don't have money, we don't have all
and
this.
Will says, tell it like it is. Master Neil Temple, what is up, good sir? Thanks for being here all the way from Canada.
Hasbro don't care about hips.
Ain't nobody got time for your hips. And you bring up great points because Neil knows them, a couple of my good buddies in Canada. So my friend Rob is a real big Masters of the Universe fan in Canada. One of my IRL friends, and Rob is too, but one of my friends here in Albuquerque where I live, he's always been a Masters guy. And I remember telling Rob exactly what you just said about this whole thing with Mattel versus Hasbro and how I'm so jealous of Masters of the Universe as an IP and Mattel as, the one of the big two, as I refer to them, right? Because they're the big two toy companies. Masters died a spectacular death in 1987. Like, it completely went through the floor, through the basement, all the way to China. It just tanked.
Yeah.
But when Masters came back, Matty Collector, they did that right. And then they did, they got Origins, they got whatever the Revolution line is, whatever that is.
My man Slickalicious, and with the super chat, I know
$10
you guys
super chat.
You guys don't hear
this.
this.
Dave's cuss jar.
You guys don't hear this fucking shit.
I love it. Very cool. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it. But I always said how I was jealous of Mattel and Masters of the Universe because, as a lifelong, I don't want to say lifelong Joe guy, but since 1982, I've been into Joe. Yeah.
Well, right.
I was born in 74. I grew up with Star Wars, but I became a Joe guy, and Joe drove my entire life, joining the military and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm watching Hasbro. Well, we can't do play sets and vehicles are this. And they're like, oh, here's this Buzz Lightyear fighter for $40. And then they're like, oh, you want a fucking Castle Grayskull? What do you want? Snake Mountain? You want a new Eternia? Could you imagine if Hasbro did with a new flag what Mattel did with that new Eternia? People would go nuts. They'd go nuts.
I wonder how...
Tube.
I wonder how comparable they are, though. And I backed that Eternia, man. I gotta have it. I never had the original, and I wouldn't like... It's not even anything I was aware of when I was a kid, but I love the Origins line so much. I was like, I got to get it, which I missed. Tangent. I missed Lady Slither. I haven't missed any of the Origins exclusives on Mattel Creations, and because I was at work in a meeting, I missed Lady Slither. But I mean, you can get one later. Bouncing between Joe, Masters of the Universe, Marvel, and wrestling, dude, and it's hard because
busy.
What's funny is each of those lines. Well, Masters of the Universe Origins to me is almost 100% pure hits, but like, when Marvel Legends gets something right, they get it really right. When Mattel gets a WWE figure right, they're amazing. And that's only maybe 10% of what they put out. Yeah. But man, when they do, it's great.
What do you think, in your opinion? Like, you've been around in this game and, in this hobby, in this community for a long time. What do you think the difference is between Mattel kind of bringing Masters of the Universe back, like that Phoenix from the ashes, versus Hasbro and Joe? And I'm just saying Joe. I'm not saying Transformers or any of the stuff that, that they license or lease or whatever. Look, Duck Collector's like, oh, I got my popcorn. Love it. What do you think it is?
That's a great question, because if you had asked me prior to 2020, hey, G.I. Joe's coming back, Masters of the Universe is coming back, which one do you think is going to have the more successful toy line? I would have said G.I. Joe, because to me, it seems like a property. And look, 80s rah-rah Reagan, super U.S. military G.I. Joe isn't necessarily going to translate to the modern audience, but there is a way to incorporate that into a media, for lack of a better word, that is more appealing. I don't care if they make G.I. Joe a worldwide global strike force, but keep your main characters, keep the core of, like, to me, it doesn't have to be Real American Hero, but Real American Hero needs to be part of it. That should be the core.
Daring, highly trained special mission force. Yes, they can do a lot of stuff.
Absolutely. And so to me, it seemed like it would have been easier to present G.I. Joe. Monster Force, cannot wait for Monster Force. Oh, yeah,
I was going to let you finish your thoughts, and then I was going to highlight a couple things.
I see Monster Force, and it's like seeing Robo Skull. I'm like a squirrel seeing a shiny object.
I'm all about that 4-inch Monster Force.
Well, of course.
Yeah. But they're red shadows. So you get like a Baron Ironblood and a Black Major, and you got to buy each of them to trade the heads. And I thought it was freaking brilliant. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, just Masters to me seemed like a harder sell to a modern audience. But it's not even about the property; it's about the way Mattel presented it. Yep. They loaded Walmarts with He-Mans and Skeletors, so everybody owned a He-Man and a Skeletor, and then they put in those backers and those obscure characters and those weirdos that delighted the collectors, and they I don't know who's running that line, but they're a genius because their release pacing has been incredible.
Well, that's lessons learned from 85, 86 too.
Well,
because that's what killed their freaking line.
Well, 85, 86 and the 2002 reboot, where there were
I love the 2000X though.
Oh, I do too. It's 2002 is really where my love of Masters of the Universe. Rich Murphy, what is up, Rich Murphy?
Super villain, karaoke himself.
Super villain. 2002 Masters of the Universe is really where my love for the brand is. But anyway, Origins has just been brilliant with the way that they've released everything and the way that they've paid homage to. They've basically taken classics but made it for everyone.
Jay Bartlett, El Bardo, what's up, brother? Good to see you. Speaking of guys who collect everything, love you, Jay. Jay hates toys, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
In a way, don't we all?
No.
Come on.
That's why
there's got to be things that drive you nuts.
And there's little things that maybe vex me slightly, but
okay.
I try to tailor what I go after, what I'm into, what draws my line of sight based on all the stuff that we see today. Like getting toys now isn't the way we used to get toys in the 80s. And so I don't focus on the now toys because I don't see that as the thrill of the hunt or the joy of going into like a Walmart and Target and rifling through the pegs and I found that one figure I don't have, because those days are done. And it's, I'm a rat at the feeder bar and, I just watched PulseCon and these things went live. Oh, I don't have that, $50 membership and I'm not going to get it. Now I got to go to eBay. I can't do it. I'm filling all my holes 82 to 94, but also I'm getting in on a lot of Valor versus Venom and G.I. Joe versus Cobra vehicles. Because there's some really cool ones like the Cobra Ringneck, which is an awesome vehicle. Just stuff like that. A lot of the weird stuff, like this freaking monster. You know what I mean,
dude? That thing. Every time I search G.I. Joe on Mercari, that thing pops up.
I love this vehicle.
What is it? I don't remember that at all.
No, it's the later G.I. Joe stuff. It's like from 98.
Really?
It's motorized, and I can it doesn't have batteries in it right now, but
sure.
Completely controllable. I mean, this thing's freaking awesome. Like, look at the size of that. It's huge.
Yeah, it's a monster. And it probably cost like $12 back then.
Oh yeah, it didn't cost much at all.
Right.
But I have tons of that stuff. Is that an Action Man tank? Wow, that went by real fast. No, it's not an Action Man tank. It is not.
Well, it's weird because it looks like it's 118.
It's Hasbro stamped.
It looks like it's 118, but it's got the old school 60s Joe logo on it.
Yeah, but it is 118 scale. I'm just gonna keep sliding away, but I got like this one too.
Oh yeah, look,
same line, same shit.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. And see, I was actively collecting. I got back in at 97 with the Stars and Stripes set, which everybody hates.
I gotta do it.
That's what she said. Do it.
Yeah, I did it.
This says ×4.
I'm not gonna play it 4 times, but that's kind of where I'm at with toys.
That's
customs and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there is a huge difference in how I feel about modern collecting and how I feel about vintage collecting. I'm gesturing towards the Vintage Joe collection that nobody can see. Well, let's see. Hang on. If you're going to move around, I'll move around. So there's you can kind of see
Yeah.
some of it up
Yep.
there. So vintage collecting is part of its nostalgia, but part of it is, like you said, the hunt. Because there's no hunt involved in modern toy collecting, but I have come at things always appreciating the artistry of toys.
Yes.
So that is kind of a lot of what modern toy collecting is to me. To find something like this creature from the Black Lagoon
Oh, that's gorgeous.
that's from
Yeah.
Jada Toys. Jada Toys, who
Yep.
up until this Universal Monsters line were only making die-cast toys. We probably all own their G.I. Joe vehicles, right? But then they put out this super articulated 1/12 scale figure that's beautiful. And that's, to me, like getting the modern toys. See, that's beautiful
Yeah.
too, though.
Storm Shadow, yeah.
Here's a weird one. So I found a custom toy maker in Russia who sculpts and casts his own Green Army men, and I
Oh,
have this
cool.
whole set of wartime ladies
Oh, that's cool.
that he made. Just the weirdest novelty thing, but I was like, those are wild. I got to get these little Green Army women. And like that, the artistry in those is great. So it all is fascinating to me. This newest vintage collection Darth Vader that they did, like this is one of the greatest Darth Vader figures of all time. However, I love the original Kenner one more. But this one is fascinating to me.
There's something about that Kenner Vader that just hits.
That's really my problem, is I have too broad a spectrum of appreciation for these things.
Yeah. I can appreciate other lines. I appreciate Masters of the Universe. I appreciate Star Wars. I appreciate Mask. My Mask collection consists of like 8 figures chilling on a shelf. Everything else is 1/18 scale customs that I made to go with my Joe and Cobra teams, because in my head canon, like the Transformers are in there, and freaking Solid Snake's in there, and Foxhound's in there, and Mask is in there, and it's all fucking Megaforce, and it's all represented in 1/18 scale in some area or another in my Joe room.
Well, my dream, and Emily from the Joe line has teased me about this because she specifically used the word retroverse twice in relation to the G.I. Joe O-Ring relaunch. And in my head, that meant we were getting 1/18th all-inclusive Transformers G.I. Joe, which they did Transformers and G.I. Joe, Mask, Visionaries, basically the IDW, what was it, Revolution or whatever.
Yeah.
That they were going to make
Revolution. Yeah, the Unit E stuff.
Inhumanoids. Man, give me some new Inhumanoids. Which I've got all of the vintage ones, but I want new ones. And I want them to be
O-ring. I don't know if I want Hasbro to make Mask, because I don't want them to just do 6-inch scale figures.
Well, but that's the thing, is I wouldn't want that. To me, that would have been part of the O-ring. They would have done O-ring Mask with vehicles scaled to go with, because that was when I was a kid. That's all I wanted, was everything to go with G.I. Joe. Yeah. I never fully invested in Mask because they were these little guys. I couldn't. Yeah.
And then Sigma 6 comes out and they're like, make it Mask size, and I'm like, all right, whatever.
It's there's a lot. So let me ask you this: 1/18 scale. What is your preference? O-ring style or like modern era style?
Modern.
Really?
All of these are modern. Every single figure in this whole room, modern.
All of these are modern.
Now, in the vehicles and stuff, if I have the original drivers or pilots or whatever, I have the O-ring figure in it.
Yeah.
But everything that's displayed on all these stands, they're all moderns, all of them.
So in 2007, 25th anniversary, I stayed through, like I said, I got back in 97, and I stayed through Spy Troops and Valor versus Venom, G.I. Joe versus Cobra, all of it, man.
They had some great characters in there, like Bomb Strike came out then.
Bomb Strike, Scalpel. Scalpel, to me, needs to be in classified immediately. But so I was with it through all of that, and then the 25th anniversary came around, and you could not convince me they weren't the greatest G.I. Joe figures of all time. I was actually blown away because I wasn't online. I wasn't talking with people about G.I. Joe back.
I lost you. Dave, I lost you. Is that me or is that Dave? Who lost whom?
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, okay. Was that you?
My internet went out for a minute. Yeah.
Hopefully
okay. I'm back.
That's okay. Anyway, I got you. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes, please.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Exo Squad? Man, and then I did get into Exo Squad, too. What's up, Brandon R? Yeah, Bomb Strike's got to be in the, not announced, but in the pipeline. Got to be for classified. But yeah, so much good stuff. I want a Scalpel, though. What I was saying is I want a Scalpel in classified. The Cobra Surgeon, I love that figure. Yeah, 25th brought me back, and I only like a few years ago found out that people hate that style and complain about like the proportions and all the gear and all that. Like, getting online is the way to find out anything you love
Someone's
is hated by someone. Right. It's so disappointing. I still love this collection because my memories of collecting it and the troop building, dude. I've never been able to do. I troop built this and I troop built the Star Wars line that was running at the same time.
Yeah.
I've got like 500 clones up there. I've got dozens of bats. Like,
oh yeah,
I can't. I could do that now, but I have no desire to because the prices back then were just, you couldn't help but do it.
So you can't really see. That's my Cobra shelf.
Okay.
This is my Joe shelf. So back there on my Cobra shelf, if you see the amount of figures that fits on one of these shelves on these nail polish trays,
yeah,
I have one shelf that's nothing but bats, one shelf that's nothing but freaking Crimson Guard, one shelf that's nothing but every single freaking type of Viper. And I love it, man. Like, Cobra should be that. They should be all the nameless, faceless. I mean, the top shelf is all like your Scrap Irons and Storm Shadow and Major Blood and all your named characters and blah, blah, blah. Tombstone and all of them.
Yeah.
Munitia. But everything else, fucking army builders. Whole thing. And I love it. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Right there. Patrick Strauko, our good friend, is asking, Dave, do you see most toy brands moving to a mostly online model in the near? And this is a conversation that all of us have had at one point or another. So that's a good question.
Patrick, I think they're already at a mostly online model.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, go to okay. So actually, there's a lot to unpack here. This says most toy brands. No, most toy brands will always be brick and mortar. But if we're talking about toys that collectors go after, and we know what we're talking about: Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, Masters of the Universe, whether it's Masterverse or Origins.
Yep.
We know the stuff we collect.
Yeah,
I feel like that stuff's already mostly online. You go to a Target and they've got the Origins figures that came out a year ago. They've got one peg full of Tiger Force Dusty, and that's it. Yeah. They've got
and some reaction figures.
Yeah. Well, no, mine don't even have those anymore. I honestly, and look, I don't know the numbers, but everything I get now is online. I don't know the last time I went into a store and said, I don't have that yet. I need to buy it here.
And that's what I was talking about. And that's kind of the weird thing. So I'm going to pop this question off, but that's an awesome question, Patrick, and we're going to keep expanding on that. I just got to put the live chat back up, or I'll turn around and there'll be like 50 comments that I missed. So, real quick, Robert's Infinite Realm says, I think the initial anniversary figures were a tad clunky, but they eventually ironed out. I can completely agree with that because aesthetically, anatomically, Dave, like you and I were talking about with the classified, the first like 3 or 4 waves of the anniversary figures, they had real knobby shoulders and those super skinny limbs.
Massive.
But by the time you get to like 30th, Pursuit of Cobra, and you're talking about the Mark Webber, Bobby Valla, Daryl DePriest, like that time frame when Hasbro across the board, if it was Joe, Star Wars, Transformers, they were firing on all cylinders and they were completely bulletproof.
Oh wait, look. Pull up pull up Just Jeff here. We gotta plug Just Jeff.
That one?
Yes. If you're in the Oklahoma area, I suggest amazing action, toys, games, and comics we have from vintage to modern, open 12 to 6, Wednesday through Sunday.
Hell yeah. He freaking he FaceTimed me and he was like, hey, I want to walk you through the store. Is there anything that you want? And I'm like, yeah, I need an original Septic Hiss. And I want the 1/18 scale Haya Ed 209. And he's like, okay, let me go look. And we're just like, we're virtually walking around the store.
Awesome.
Looking. Yeah.
That is awesome. So you've got some Haya stuff.
I do have some Haya stuff.
I have nothing from Haya Toys.
I got the Haya Joes too.
Oh, you've got the Haya Joes. Okay, how's their
stuff? Like, yeah, I did an unboxing of the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
See? So how like proportionally and like, but my biggest concern is the articulation and how.
Okay, so they articulate really well. I was on Analog Toys not long ago and we were talking about this, but with all the modern Joes and most modern construction 4-inch figures, the hand pegs into the wrist, right?
Right.
On these, it's the opposite. So the hand has a hole in it.
So it's like
it doesn't stay on as well. Yeah, it doesn't stay on as well. Right. So when you take that balled up fist, and for those Haya Joes, in my video, I drop the balled fist and it sounds like a freaking marble. Like it is hard as shit, but it doesn't need to be PVC. It's not going to hold a weapon, right? But it's literally like a solid fucking chunk, like a rock. And when you peg those in, they get kind of loose, man.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Missed the unboxing. Apologies. No apologies. Totally cool.
Nobody has time
septic tank
to take it all in. I want a septic tank. That is definitely on my list because again,
I have the San Diego Comic Con exclusive one that's based off the DTC Hiss. It's not called the septic tank. It's called like the Septic Hiss. I have that.
Okay.
One. But I don't have the original with like the highlighter canopy and the big.
Yeah.
I don't have that one.
Dude, that's the stuff I'm talking about that I'm discovering now and just loving.
So, Mr. Karaoke himself, Chad, are you going to keep on with the Haya Joes? I think I'm done after Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. I want the Cobra Commander. Right. Because Apro Studios designed the Cobra Commander, and it is not like a one-to-one transfer of the classified designs. Right. So that Storm Shadow that Haya did, that was the original classified design of Storm Shadow before they backpedaled and freaked out, because they didn't have a fucking vision for that line. But the Cobra Commander is not the classified Cobra Commander. He's like a cross between the original 82 version of Cobra Commander, the Resolute Cobra Commander, with a couple little sprinklings of other versions thrown in there. He looks freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So I really like that one. Yeah. If you guys got other questions, man, throw them out. I don't mind them loose. I just use 2 hands. What? Yeah. Chronically, man. Chronically and I hung out in Denver. I went up to Denver and played a show, and he actually came to my show. It was pretty rad.
Nice.
And I was at All Seas Collectibles hunting for toys. And he was like, oh, I like that modern Yoda on the Retro Empire card back. And so I got it for him, right? As like a little gift. Later on that night, I get this text message from him, and like he opened the Yoda and it completely just disintegrated, like blown the fuck apart. Like the arms were just boom.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Ugh.
that's that Hasbro right there. So anyway, I kind of want to back up for a second. I find it very interesting, and I guess there's a question in here. I don't know. I'm going to try to posit a question in here. When you go to say like a Walmart or a Target or something like that, Legos full,
Right.
Barbie full,
Right.
Duplo, Kid Connection, all this stuff, full.
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels, boys action toys. It's either like this much or empty pegs. Looks like a freaking Soviet era grocery store. Why do you think?
Man, I don't know. I've been wondering about this for years now. Because even pre-pandemic, his stank.
Yeah, because a lot of people want to say, "Oh, well, you know, it was the whole lockdown thing, and that's what caused the distro." It's like, no,
it's
man.
Not.
If you've been in this, it's been that way for a long time.
Years before the pandemic, the Walmart has been shrinking their boys action aisle for a very long time. I don't understand why. I don't know. I don't know what's going on, and I think a lot of it is online though, because I don't necessarily believe in the whole, oh, well, Marvel Legends and Classified and all that kind of stuff have to appeal to Uncle Ted and Mom. Like, I don't think that's a thing anymore. Yeah. I find it hard to believe there are enough of us to keep any of those lines going, but at the same time, kids are not playing with toys.
And so that's a whole other bag of cats in itself, because
I don't know what's happening.
They're pricing kids out of toys. There's really no media for these IPs except for fucking Masters of the Universe, right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Again, why I'm jealous of Mattel. Thank you. But you don't see this stuff. And I've always said, like, I love toys. I love the art that are toys. Thank you for saying that earlier, right? Because it is art. They're art. They're pieces of art. They're pieces of history. I love the sculpting and the detail and the paint apps and the tempo, and even Classified. Like, yes, I do appreciate the detail that goes into these figures. Don't tell me that fucking Televiper is supposed to have those black sleeves, because he wasn't. Anyway, moving on.
but it's okay, because the retro release will not have them.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, me and the guy who painted it, we kind of, or sculpted it, we kind of went at it, but whatever. I mean, just don't piss down my back and tell me it's raining. That's totally cool. But I love the art of all of this stuff. But at the same time, I've always said the way that you know an IP is healthy is if you go down the birthday aisle at Walmart, or if you go to like a Party City and they have birthday tablecloths and balloons and plates and cups and cakes and all this stuff. You see that with Toy Story. You see it with Paw Patrol. You see it with Transformers. You see it with Star Wars. You don't really. Oh, and you see it with the Avengers, and not really with anything else. That's when you know a line is freaking healthy.
And that's when you know there actually are kids playing with toys from that line. But that's why Hasbro gets the, you know, little 5-inch scale figure, or five. I cannot believe I just said 5-inch scale. Can I say this real quick? 6 inches is not a scale. 12 inches is not a scale. 3 3/4 inches is not a scale. Those are sizes.
112,
those are measurements.
Yeah, those are scales. Yeah.
And I can't believe I said 5-inch scale. I have to eject me from this thing. Set me on fire.
Anyway, so
no, just kidding, oh, you should have left me out. I broke one of my own rules. No. But anyway, you know, that's why those kid-oriented lines are out there. So I don't, and see, that's the thing, is kids just don't. Now, my son is kind of an exception to he's 15 now, so it's not quite like it was, but like he grew up in this and had more of an interest in toys than any of his friends did. But none of his friends, like some of his friends never even had action figures. It's just, again, not what it was.
Yeah.
And it's not good or bad. It's not good or bad. It's just what it is. Because I mean, when I'm growing up, the only reason my dad knew anything about my toys is because he was in the military, and he was like, "Hey, what's this GI Joe thing?" Like that was it. He didn't care anything about any of the toys I had because when he was growing up, he was playing with like a hoop and a stick or whatever the fuck he had back then.
Yeah.
It just times change.
Tin soldiers and things. Yeah.
Right. He was putting pencils in a potato or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that was the original Mr. Potato Head, right?
That's
Potatoes
right.
sold separately. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, it was just like little bits.
Yeah, it was just a box of parts.
Potato. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. I think did Toys That Made Us cover that? Something on Netflix covered like the origin of the potato head.
Yeah, they may have in one of their other
it
was an episode. It was probably an episode about like Barbie or
right. It was something else.
Or He-Man. It was something parallel.
They felt obligated to mention Potato Head. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the company that started Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah.
Potatoes sold separately. Yeah. We got a couple of questions here. I guess this is more rhetorical, but pardon me. Santa Brandon, all the way from Canada, says, "What do parents buy their kids?"
I mean, it is. It's video games now.
My kid's 16, and she still loves toys. She still has her entire Monster High collection.
Nice.
Which is vast. It's all in like totes and bins. I mean, go figure, right? She's a collector's kid. So it's all in totes and bins and stuff, but she still has the entire collection. She has a lot of like statues and anime stuff and things like that. So she does collect. She has many shelves of leather-bound books of things that she collects in her room. But yeah, she's also a gamer. So I don't know. She's kind of all over the place, but always has been.
The issue with my son collecting, which he's more Marvel Legends, but is in order to balance everything out, sometimes he gets, for instance, a HasLab Galactus that I don't get because that's just the decisions we have to make as parents sometimes. So he's upstairs
and you're like
his HasLab Galactus. And can I just review that before you open it?
Can I help you transform it, please? I'll ground you. Yeah, 100%. And then J Mean Geeks. Chad, do you do Joe boxed or boxes? The art of Joe is why I draw. I have a lot of boxes. You can see I have the Built to Rule playset right there. That's my detonator box that's open. A-Team Interceptor Bomber, that's open. I got a couple more boxes up here. And peek behind the curtain, right? That's all boxes all along that top.
Nice.
That's all boxes. Yeah, so I have a lot of boxes. I fucked this camera up. I have a lot of boxes. They're just kind of all around.
Yeah. I adore the G.I. Joe box art, but I just have no desire to collect any boxes, just the space that they take up. But that's why I love the fact that Carson Metaxas is releasing that book.
Oh God, man, that book.
That's all I need. I'll be happy with that.
So this year, well, because I saw you up there in the AV room numerous times. Yeah. Did you go over and like mitts all over that book?
Dude.
The only thing that I have to say about that book, and I love Carson, we're friends, he's like the biggest torchbearer for G.I. Joe, like in the community. Carson has done more for continuing the legacy of a real American hero, even with his Operation Recall, but with 3djoes.com, with this omnibus, with all the stuff that he's done, him and Chad Huckle. I love him to death. When Hasbro licensed that book and he had to take the freaking hooded Cobra Commander off the spine, I was a little pissed.
I didn't know about that.
Not at Carson whatsoever. I love Carson to death. In fact, I just sent him some customs, which is rare because I don't really do that. But yeah, they made him take hooded Cobra Commander off the spine of the book.
Wow, I guess that answers the question, doesn't it?
Well, because the whole thing with Lorenzo di Bonaventura and the hood and
right.
All that bullshit. Now I got to do this.
But that certainly That certainly clarifies and updates that situation.
Yeah, with what is the poll of what should we put on here? That's why.
Well, but I think we didn't really know for sure that he was off the books. It's just that they hadn't happened to release one since the Ultimate.
Yeah.
Uh,
he's done. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they will never touch Hooded Cobra Commander.
Well, never say never.
And Dan Klingensmith, right? His creating G.I. Joe, which, you know, Dan's an awesome guy and a good friend, and he's also doing like killer work with all this stuff. And I love these frickin' volumes. Same thing. He can't show Hooded Cobra Commander. Not allowed.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're gonna license something from Hasbro, no hood, my friend.
Interesting.
And then here's another question. World Made of Cardboard, what is up, dude? I don't know if you've ever seen this guy's play sets made out of cardboard, but they're brilliant.
Oh, I'm into
brilliant.
Let's go.
Can't these toy companies just make toys? They know no kid is playing with toys yet. Chatmay, Leonard, and others are still making toys. I agree.
Oh man, that's that's part of the reason why I love Masters of the Universe Origins so much. Is to me, the super articulated 1/12 scale figures just aren't toys. There's too all this. It's too much. But Masters of the Universe Origins, that's a toy line. Kids can play with that. Collectors can enjoy that. And like he's saying, Chatmay, Leonard, like those are toys that can be played with. You go into Walmart, you get some of those Alien and Predator toys. Those things are great. And that's
even that mini APC is still money.
Dude, yes. That's another facet of the artistry that I appreciate is how well can you combine like really cool aesthetics with actual playability. Because I love Mezco's 1/12 collective stuff. I've got a bunch of it, but they're not toys.
They're not toys.
They don't even fall into that category.
No.
So yeah, I love collectibles. I love action figures, but I also still love toys. As a matter of fact, oh no, I moved him. I had one of the 12-inch Leonard Predators because it's a phenomenal toy. Actually, he's hanging from the ceiling up there. I'd turn my camera, but you probably couldn't see it. A good toy brings me just as much joy as like the nicest, most detailed, articulated figure.
You know what? Absorbvids, I didn't say thanks for coming, but thank you for being here. And I saw you pop in. This 3 words, very powerful statement. Times do change. And yeah, times do change. But not only do times change, but at the same time, is just appealing to adult collectors a good business model? Like, how long does that kind of a thing stay solvent?
I don't think they have a choice with certain things, though, because of what we were talking about with most kids not being interested in so kids these days are still interested in toys until they turn like 6 or 7, which is why Paw Patrol and like the younger kid oriented Marvel line and whatever else, why that stuff still sells. But then basically once they discover video games or media or whatever, they just don't care about the toys anymore. And then it leaps to us, essentially. Like we've completely lost that 8 to 20 range.
And let's go back around to Masters of the Universe again. So they had Revelations on Netflix. They've got the more higher end collectibles. I mean, toys, action figures, whatever. But you know, they're kind of hitting at that nostalgia feels. But then they came out with that little kid line and that little kid cartoon at the same time, which I thought was pretty freaking brilliant.
Yeah, and that's the thing is people say, well, how can you sustain 3 different lines at retail? Well, you sustain it because you hook the little kids in with the kid-oriented Netflix cartoon toys, but then they see Origins or then they see Masterverse, and they're like, well, wait a minute, that looks like a fancier version of this thing. Well, I want that also. Yeah. I mean, it is,
and that's okay because then you're just drawing them in. You're drawing in those new customers because us older guys, you know, we're like a glider. We're only going to fly for a little while, and then we're just going to crash. But this is a good comment. The death of Saturday morning cartoons is the reason kids are not collecting action figures. Growing up, we always saw toy commercials.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
I said that the other day on some shit on Facebook or whatever, and I was like, what the hell ever happened to, I was talking about that PulseCon thing, and I was like, I didn't watch it. And then one of my buddies was like, I'm not shocked, you know? And I was like, well, at least I'm consistent, but why does it have to be like, it has to be like this social media influencer hype thing? And I'm not like shitting on Dan Larson or anything, but I'm just saying, like,
I hope not, because that guy is a delight.
well, and the guys who did the last one, the kid from Holes, and he was like, yo, 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 and he's just like screaming the whole time. And then I'm like, wait, when did we go from like toys to like this? It's almost like the MTV Video Music Awards that sells action figures at the same time. And I'm like, what the fuck ever happened to toy commercials? Like,
but that's completely gone? They're so desperate to try and figure out what that formula is to get the youth back in. And the problem, it's a bunch of, old white guys who don't understand anything about pop culture. But I would be fascinated to find out who recruited Dan Larson. And I'm not familiar with the other guy, but he ended up being great.
He's like, He's really big in the Transformers.
Yeah, I know. Well, and that's Noel from Audible Interlude. Well, Noel and Christian both were familiar with him. I thought they were great, but the fact that somebody at Hasbro recognized, one, that those guys were knowledgeable and had, some level of social media street cred, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, they have like a toy community.
Right. And they're the best hosts a Hasbro event has ever had. They were fun without being condescending or without feeling like they were trying to, hey, we're part of the zeitgeist, look at us. Like, to me, that PulseCon was the most effective thing Hasbro's ever put on. And to see Dan Larson join the Joe team to talk about Classified at the end, and the enthusiasm, and it was all very real. It did not feel as scripted as a lot of those things have felt. It felt like a bunch of people who love toys talking about toys.
Yeah, and Larson's a Joe guy, because when the Sky Striker HasLab was out, like, he was on everybody's freaking channel talking about, like, back that Sky Striker, and he was wearing like a fucking like jacket and a scarf and aviators, and he was just hamming it up.
Dude, but he was like a little kid on the Joe panel. If you have a minute, just watch the Classified portion of it and just see Larson. I know, but just see Larson interacting with the Joe team and how excited he is about stuff, and how he's like, wait a minute, why don't the Dreadnoks come with backpacks? And like, I had a lot of fun watching that. Yeah, he wasn't calling him out, but he did say, the Dreadnoks don't have backpacks. I kind of wish they did.
I'm surprised he didn't get the response. The Dreadnoks should come with backpacks. I don't know. Whatever. Johnny from Simple Tricks and Nonsense. What is up, my buddy, all the way from Florida, good old Sunshine State. My dad and uncle used to bombard their Joes with firecrackers in the 60s. So when Real American Hero came out, my dad saw the name brand and was instantly on board with getting me Joes. G.I. Joe replaced Star Wars for me by 85. There you go.
Yeah. Very
generational
story. Right? Very similar story for me. I started with Migos, World's Greatest Superheroes. That was my first toy line. Then Star Wars, then Joe's came in after that.
Look at this shit. Chad is the Mormon equivalent of a toy collector. Lots of boxes anyway. I'll see myself out. I don't really have a lot of boxes in the grand scheme. All the boxes up there on the top, those all have the toys still in them. So like the detonator's out, but I bought a sealed 93 detonator. I kept that box. I bought a sealed 94 Blockbuster, the very last large Joe vehicle ever produced for a Real American Hero. But one of my buddies really wanted that box. So I was like, whatever, that's cool. I put it right back in the shipper, tore off the label, and mailed it out, whatever.
See, and I try to be conscious of that, because as I'm collecting my vintage Joe, we've got a great toy store here in Metro Atlanta, Second Chance Collectibles, or Second Chance Toys and Collectibles. And they've had a couple of pieces that are Joe items that I want, but they have the box. They're not mint in box because I'm not buying anything mint in box because I want to open it all. I want to have it all out.
Yeah, I
But
had
I
to.
won't.
Yeah.
I won't buy something that has the box, even if the price is right, that has the box with it, because I know somebody wants that box and I don't.
And see, that's freaking cool because you're thinking about other people in that community, and that's a good way to be, right? Because toys should be fun, it should be enjoyable, and I've always been a fan of that mindset of, leave one for the next guy.
Dude, if I'm in the store, okay, this never happens anymore, but if I'm in the store and I actually do find something I need, I'll buy the one with the fucked up box because I know I'm going to open it. I'll leave the good boxes for somebody else.
Yeah, I was always the same about that too. Especially with the, all the modern runs through the 50th anniversary and all that stuff. And then even the retro Walmart, when they called them retro, but most of them were just re-releases of the 50th.
Right.
They had vehicles, and I bought the shit out of all those, but I would get all the beat up ones because I knew I was going to open them.
Yes, exactly.
But like the detonator and the blockbuster were kind of unique because the detonator has that thing with the bevel hose where they rot over time, right?
I gotta look it up. Because you're talking later era stuff that I don't know off the top of my head at all. G.I. Joe detonator. Oh wow, that's something.
This
is that you said this is the last thing that was released?
The detonator?
No, you said the blockbuster. Oh,
blockbuster.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is during that whole. Oh man, one of the stickers came off. But that's what happens when you put stickers on Nerf darts, right?
Huge.
This is one of those vehicles where they were doing that whole. The brand is a language, and so they cross Nerf with G.I. Joe, and so you just push this plunger down, and this freaking thing will fire like 30 feet.
That's amazing.
But there's a bevel that sits down inside the body right here, and you can see the hose. See the hose right here?
Yeah.
There's a little lip right inside here where it connects, and you can kind of see it right there.
Yeah.
This can break, and then you don't have the positive pressure to fire it.
Right.
So basically, you have a broken vehicle. So I bought this in the box, unopened, right? And so I opened it just so I had one that would fire.
And see, that's what, and this is it. Everybody prepare to enter into a realm of madness. That's why I'm going to have to buy a mint in box USS Flag.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's a friend of mine, Jason Wilson, is Hooded Cobra Commander, is super duper racist according to the so a friend of mine, Jason Wilson, is an Emmy Award-winning director. That's just a fact. I'm just saying it. And he produced a documentary about me and all the stuff I do called Troublemaker. Everybody can check out the Troublemaker movie.
Yeah.
Yes, you saw the trailer. And the next documentary we're going to produce is going to be me hunting down a mint in box USS Flag. This is the first time I've announced this publicly.
That's rad, dude. That's really rad.
And it's going to include me opening up that mint in box USS Flag and putting that fucker together because it's the only way to be sure.
Yeah.
It's like nuking it from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
Yeah, good old Aliens reference.
So yeah, it's got to happen.
So
I don't know how soon it'll be, but
that's super cool. So Jay Bartlett, who was here, probably still is here. I don't know. He kind of floats in and out. He's like the Shadow. Only the Shadow knows. he has that action figure adventure series that was on. It still is on Amazon and all that stuff, where he goes and he hunts down toys and he auctions them for children's health.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he did Nintendo Quest. So kind of along the same principle, but I think that's cool, man. I'll really look forward to that when you do.
Yeah,
that.
the plan is to literally drive to find basically the furthest toy place away that has it, drive cross country, stop at places along the way.
Yeah.
Have a little road trip. Old dude road trip to buy a toy.
Well, if you go through the desert Southwest, let me know.
Absolutely. Well, that's part of the plan. Because we really do want to cross a good bit of the country. I'm looking at this Blockbuster right now. So what this looks like to me is one of the old Empire Strikes Back Hoth playsets, but with wheels.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? Because it's like very, very bulky and boxy.
I love these just massive bricks of plastic.
Yeah, and the Blockbuster was the very last vehicle that was put out for a real American hero, and it was the last large vehicle.
It's a
1994.
beast. So, okay, so let me ask you this. This is all pure personal opinion. So if I were to get a Blockbuster, my plan would probably be to remove all of the paper stickers and get Toy Hack stickers and put them on there.
Yep.
Does that go against your beliefs as a collector?
Nope. No, I've restickered a good percentage of my collection. My Terradrome has all new Toy Hacks stickers on them both.
Oh, nice.
Because when I got I knew I was going to make a double decker, so I got a complete Terradrome.
Right.
And the stickers, like especially in the launch bay doors, just all ratty and gross. And
Sure.
None of the computer consoles even had stickers on them. And then the bottom one, I didn't really care because I was going to rip it apart and pull the launch bay out, so I could put the monitor swivel stand. And once I got it all completely built, I just restickered the whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I have also because I make a lot of customs, I have a huge manila envelope right over here.
Yeah.
And it's just full of Toy Hack sticker sheets.
Dude, I restickered a headquarters that I got, and it looks so much better.
Random diorama, what's up, dude? Says, what's up, folks? Boys action figures are toxic masculinity. That's why they're downsizing them. Barbies for all.
And I also use
figure? Random. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I also use Toy Hacks. I got that the Punisher that came with the motorcycle, put a bunch of Dreadnought stickers on it, gave it to Zartan.
Yeah. Very cool. I had to use not Toy Hacks, but Rattler's Repros for all the new stickers on my flag. When I got this flag, well, the man bought it for me. It was my Father's Day gift a couple of years ago. And the 99 on the deck was just dog shit, right? Because that's what they're going to look like.
Yeah.
It was dog shit. The whole conning tower was like really yellowed because you can tell it had been sitting in an attic. And here's the insult to injury. The Admiral's launch, right? The little boat that comes out.
Yeah.
Someone used that fucking thing as an ashtray.
Oh.
So if you've ever smoked or smokers,
yeah,
the Admiral's launch, it's kind of hollow, and then it has that little molded seat in the middle. There's a perfect perpendicular line across it where someone set a cigarette down and it burned across it. So everything else that I could salvage, I retro brighted, where you use the retro bright, the solution in the bags and all that stuff. The bottom of the flag was in good shape. I just had to resticker the whole thing. And I replaced the Admiral's launch with one that wasn't used as an ashtray. And then just slowly but surely, I got it to 100%. I can't say it's 100% because I don't have the freaking speaker and the microphone, and I don't care. Dude, I'm not going to walk up and go, burr, 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 but
my rule for my Vintage Joe collection when I get something is what would mine look like if I still had it?
There you go.
I don't need it to be perfect. I just need it to be, because you mentioned the attic, all my Joe, including my flag, went up in the attic when I moved out of the house and just destroyed.
See, that's a good mindset to have. I look at things like, do I want this item 70% complete? Or do I not want this item in my collection?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Right. And then there's kind of caveats after that.
Of course.
Do I want it 70% in my collection? Yes. Is this an item that is prevalent enough where I could find parts on like your One-Stop Joe shop, your eBays or whatever? Because some things like a whale, you can find all the parts to complete a whale. A Star Brigade Astrobot or Armorbot, not so much, right?
Right.
So I have this Armorbot. I bought this sucker right there. I don't know where I'm pointing. I'm not
No,
Vanna
you
White.
had it. You had it.
Yeah,
You
this
were
guy
there.
right here, right? So I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
this armor bot. He's missing one hip cap and the small antenna and the Star Brigade General Hawk. Darn.
Right.
I'd rather have him, and I got him for a good price. He has all the missiles, so that was a freaking win. And then, like 6 months later, I wound up getting a sealed in box armored bot, but I'm not going to open it. So,
and that's the thing. If you get something that satisfies however complete in whatever condition you need it to be in for the right price,
Yep.
you never know when you're going to find. I came at Joe Fest. I came across that mobile command center for the right price. Only
you're
thing
talking
that was missing.
the Jawa Sandcrawler one?
Yes.
That guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
The only thing that was missing was Mean Dog's knife. I don't give a shit about Mean Dog's knife.
Yeah.
If I find one someday, maybe I'll buy it, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And like I got also. No, wait, this was Joe Lanta. No, Toy Lanta. I found a whale for the right price. It needed some pieces. I'm still kind of agonizing over the fact that I can't find a windscreen for it. It's driving me crazy. I can't find a windscreen for the right price. That's the only thing I'm missing on this thing now. I had to buy a couple of the gun caps and one of a couple of things, but overall, like, beautiful, great condition, looks good. But you when you see that, you've just got to do those calculations in your head. Like it's all Steiner math.
Yeah, it is. And that's one of those things, like, walk up to an item and then you start doing like rocket science in your head, like,
Right.
do I want it? Can I complete it? Is it worth trying to complete it? Is it going to be 5 times as much when I'm done? Make a decision. And it's just one of those things.
Perfect example of that. I just had so one of the few things I've got left from my childhood G.I. Joe collection, my Terrordrome, because my mom gave it to one of the neighbors, so it never went up in the attic. But it's missing the big turret guns. It's missing a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
So we go to a local toy sale that happens at like a storage unit every once in a while, and they've got a complete Terrordrome. And I did the math in my head. How much is it going to cost me to refurbish mine versus just buying this one?
Yep.
And I had to get it. So now I've got 2 Terrordromes, and I'm looking at Chad over here like, what could I do with 2 Terrordromes?
Just take the turret off the top, man, and just set that sucker right on there. The A-Team Interceptor bomber. So I got one in the box. I have the box. And I was like, man, this thing's cool. Like, I dig it. You know, it's based off the F-16 Falcon, but it's real flimsy, real flimsy.
Yeah.
And the rear landing gear was broken. It was missing the cockpit, but I got the box, you know, and I didn't give a shit about the box because I was going to take it out of the box and I wanted it on my flag. I found another one on eBay. It had the rear landing gear in good shape and the cockpit, but it was like missing a wing, no missiles. And I was like, take it. Right. So there we go. Put them together. And that's how we do that math. But let me hit some of the chat here real quick. Johnny says G.I. Joe needs a multiplayer co-op game that does seasons or expansions. Toys come out in support of the game. The flag point system comes back. Buying toys earn you in-game points. Dude, that would be smart.
Ooh, I like that.
That'd be freaking smart.
Dude.
I'm also a big fan of Hasbro should do Marauder Gunrunners models of like, here's these hands, here's these torsos, here's these heads, here's these kits, blah, blah, blah. Build a figure. Man, that would make a shitload of money.
So WWE is doing that. They have figures in store that have QR codes that you like, they include them that you scan and you unlock that version of the character in the WWE game.
I have to say it. Do it, Doug. Here's a question for you. I guess it's for you because I don't understand what Imaginext is. Why didn't Mattel do an Imaginext Motu?
So for those who may not know, Imaginext was is this incredible, like, all-encompassing toddler. It's not really toddler, but that's what it's considered, as a toddler toy line. I've actually got some Imaginext figures somewhere around here. They have done Dino Riders, basically. It wasn't called Dino Riders, but it was Dino Riders. They've done all kinds of different great brands, and it's by Mattel. I have no idea why there wasn't Imaginext Masters of the Universe, or why there isn't Imaginext Masters of the Universe. My son went, it's funny because my son was born in 2007. And I remember before he
same
was
with my
born,
daughter. Yeah.
He's about to turn, matter of fact, exactly 1 month from today, he'll be 16.
There you go.
So before he was born, we were seeing this Imaginext stuff, like Sky Pirates, like pirates, but in like flying vehicles and stuff. Just wild. Anybody who doesn't know what Imaginext is should just Google it, just to see some of the incredible stuff that came out. But I was like, man, it's a shame. It's a shame this won't be around by the time our son is born. And little did we know it would still be around in 2023.
That's actually super cool. George Aiken says, I haven't seen a decent toy commercial since the 80s. Wow.
Actually, I'm going to disagree with that, because years ago, there's a company called Warpo Toys, and they released a line of H.P. Lovecraft Kenner-style action figures, and they did an old school, like 80s style commercial. Look up, I can't remember what the line is called, but look up Warpo Toys on YouTube and check out their commercial for their Lovecraft line. It's hilarious.
I'm going to cut Mr. Aiken some slack because A, he lives in the UK and I have no idea.
Oh.
And B, he's very Palatoy centric. So he's probably talking about the, hey, governor, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be, you know what I mean? Like the cool Palatoys commercial where the guy walks in and the kid. Yeah. Anyway, you know what? I want to talk about this. This I want to talk about. Brandon R says, I'm not saying there's a connection, but what happened to Star Wars after the last couple movies? Who wants to reenact that? Have you seen those reports that came out that, now we're just going to talk about toys. I'm not talking about the movies or anything like that, but
sure,
Lucasfilm was valued at $4.3 billion when George Lucas sold it to Disney. A lot of that was based on toys. Right. It was based on the IP and all that stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But now they're saying the value of Lucasfilm, because of the decline in the films and the decline in the toy sales, the only thing that's worth anything anymore after the sale of Lucasfilm to Disney is Industrial Light and Magic. And then I saw another report that Star Wars toy sales have declined 65%. And then the people who were doing that math, they said that if you took every year of Star Wars merchandise sales, and I don't just mean toys, merchandising, right?
Yes.
Star Wars, the flamethrower, all of that.
Right.
Every year since Disney bought Lucasfilm, every one of those years combined did not make as much money as 1 year, the biggest year of Kenner Star Wars, as far as merchandise sales. And I think a lot of that is changing of the times, like we've been talking about.
Of course. I'd have to see all that to comment on it.
Yeah. It's a lot of data.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the entirety of Disney Star Wars merchandising has not made as much money as the single highest grossing year of Kenner Star Wars. But I can also understand that, because almost all of us, everybody who's hanging out in chat, almost all of us, you and me included, Dave, we grew up back then. Like, we remember how crazy it was back then.
Well, right. Go look up old pictures of like Lionel Playworld and Toys R Us, where there's one
floor to ceiling
40-foot aisle, both sides are Star Wars. Times, who was it that said in the chat, things change or times are different or whatever it was? I mean,
it was Absorbvids.
Yeah.
Who right here said, I thought Dan did well, and that's cool.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then chronically, because that's how he rolls, he just, he likes to cut jokes. But yeah, Dan Larson did say that. But it wasn't about Hasbro. It was about everything. And everybody who's seen those videos knows it was about everything. What the state of the toy industry or whatever those videos were. And then Johnny says, but with Mattel, it's scattershot, and in many ways, it can delude the focus. Sure, they set out a buffet, something for everyone, but it's the difference between carpet bombing and a surgical strike. I can see that. Yeah.
Well, and that's a really good point, because it blows my mind that they're willing to run 3 different Masters of the Universe lines at the same time. But at the same time, clearly there's some amount of success. Like, yeah, you go into Target and they've got the same 8 figures they've had for whatever. I try to be chronically online. I would love to be a man for the people. But it's still going. All 3 of them are still going. It's weird.
They are.
That's where it comes down to. We can speculate and we can take the information that's available to us and build our own thoughts about how we think things are going. But at the end of the day, we're never really going to know the dollars and cents of this stuff.
And that's kind of my thing. Like, I don't give a shit about spreadsheets, because to me, it's the people at these toy companies wearing their suits who only look at spreadsheets, and they don't know toyetic potential and playability, and they don't understand that stuff. That to me is what fucking kind of nukes the whole joy of toy collecting. I'm just like, if you like Rock Lords, have at it, man. Like, go for it. Just do your thing.
But to take a counterpoint to that, it makes it even more incredible that, because I always, like, people like to go hard on some of the teams that are responsible for certain toy lines.
Yeah.
And while some of them, I'm sure, are just there to make a buck and don't care about their stuff as much as they should. I look at, for instance, Mattel's WWE team. I know those guys care. I know Steve and Robert care. To me, I see them fighting the man to get cool products on the shelf. Not everything they put out is cool, because the man is controlling what they're able to put out. Yeah. But every once in a while, something like that fucking gobbledygooker gets made, and I look at guys like Steve and Robert, and I'm like, they did it. They said, fuck the man. We're putting a man in we're putting Hector Guerrero in a turkey suit on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff brings me joy, because it's slipping through the bullshit, the corporate bullshit. The gobbledygooker made it through the corporate bullshit. Like, stuff like that, I love it.
I don't even see how this Hasbro Joe team, and correct me if I'm wrong, it wasn't the same team it is now. Like, I don't think Emily was the brand manager. Granted, I'm not writing her fucking biography, but I don't think she was the brand manager when they actually got Pimp Daddy Destro greenlit. Like, how did they slide Pimp Daddy Destro past their suits? They must have talked him into that shit.
I would be desperate for a biography of G.I. Joe Classified someday, because there are a lot of stories that I want to hear, because it's, it started as Operation Blackout. That was the tie-in. That was going to be our big thing. And it was all
and the movie, and then the movie got delayed,
right.
and then the game came out, and by the time the game came out, they had already changed the aesthetic, because, like, have a vision, man. Like, I appreciate the fact that everyone has social media, and so we all have a voice, but I don't think that this whole thing that, like, just because I can communicate to a toy company doesn't mean we're friends. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
This listening to everyone's input, I think it either shatters any idea of having a vision for a brand, or it just makes you like a dog chasing your tail in circles.
Well, but I think all of the toy companies are still learning. They're still figuring out this climate that we're in now, where dudes over 35 are such a massive part of their customer base, where, like, look at the social media, though. Like, G.I. Joe's Instagram doesn't do anything. Mattel doesn't do anything in social media. And it's foolish, because it's a powerful tool.
And here's the thing about that. So, sort of the caveat off of that, Rick LaPrade, who's a guy that I know, he was the social. He was like the media marketing manager or whatever, those big frickin' titles that people have. But he was in charge of media for Hasbro. When they let him go, like they do, he handed over a year's worth of media. And this guy, like, he started HasCon. He did the 40th anniversary like theme and all that stuff for G.I. Joe. Like, he's done a ton of shit. And he handed over a year's worth of media. They fucking shit canned it.
Well, but that
like they didn't even use it. Yeah.
That is just the corporate way, because the new person comes in and everything the previous person did is garbage because they've got to
But
make
they also
their mark.
didn't do anything after that. They
Well,
just
and
stopped.
they did. They focused something somewhere else, whether it was just shit canning Joe or whatever the case may be. They don't care about being effective. They care about change, because change is exciting and change makes you look
changes,
good.
Changes. Yeah, absolutely. Here's a comment from World Made of Cardboard. Final Faction. Have you seen these?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
they're so good, man.
They're actually right there. Look at that.
Damn, there you go. Yeah, I got a bunch of Final Faction stuff back there. I love that little buggy, the little modular buggy.
Yeah, dude, that's
awesome.
toy art. That is working around the man.
Yep. Yeah. I had a fantastic nostalgic feeling walking out of the store with the whole set for less than $20, and there were still toys on the shelf for others to buy the whole set.
Yes.
100%. And now, like, you know, they got the little walker drones, and they got like that mech dog, and then they have the add-on sets. They're so awesome, dude. And then just because I can, again, I'm gonna put that back up again. Yep. And then Embargo says, love the detonator. Am I that far behind? I am that far behind because it just jumped.
You're hopping here, man.
Oh, what? They're all here for you, brother. World Made of Cardboard. I had the detonator. I bought it in college. Nerf meets G.I. Joe. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just trying to get that Chad bump. That's all I'm here for.
I don't know what that is. JLS Comics, Chad, do you have the Nerf M4 1A pulse rifle? I do not, my friend. I don't.
Dude.
I don't. And I still look for it when I'm out and about, but no, I don't have it. This is how freaking far behind we are. My bad. I'm sorry, everybody in the chat. Mitten box flag. What the hell? Okay, so now I'm just gonna cruise. I'm getting a custom hooded Cobra Commander off eBay for my classified. I grew up with that version. Yeah, and you can find the hooded heads and make your own. And yeah, it's one of the few classified figures in my game room is exactly that. So with the Venom pistol and the whole 9 yards, and I made a little diorama out of it for my wife.
Dude, Mark II Designs did a great. It's a backpack that holds the Venom
plug-in.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Sure did. Vargo needed to go. Watch the rest of this later piece. This is from like, it's only 20 minutes ago. Sorry, brother. See you later. Samuel Litter says driving cross country is the best. Yeah, it absolutely is. I always drive to Joe Fest. Matt Noon says love the Blockbuster. Never put the stickers on either. That's cool. I did. Yeah. I stickered mine. JLS Comics says Blockbuster would look good with a blue and yellow repaint. Yeah. I'd get behind an OD green Blockbuster.
Dude, that would look kill. What about like a green and brown camo?
Yeah, that would be cool too. Very cool. Beta Ray Bob, what is up? Hope everyone is having a good evening, a good conversation going on tonight. Thank you, and thanks for being here, even though I'm like 19 minutes late reading that. Sorry. I'm catching up. Catching up time now. Dave and I are getting there. Samuel Edwards says, I regret giving my cousin my whale a few years ago.
But at least it didn't like get destroyed or
you didn't like chuck it in the dumpster. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Marvelous Mike. Hey, Chad, did you ever do anything with that? Oh, the animal truck? No, not yet. It's actually right back there. This is all stuff to be that whole wooden thing. That's all stuff for customs. Right now, I'm working on this this Chap May Kid Connection. I'm doing a updated Cobra Missile Command headquarters.
Oh,
I'm actually
dude,
filming it, and it's taking forever.
Did you see that Leonard Missile Command Base Mountain thing is supposedly going to Ollie's for Christmas this year?
No, I didn't see that.
That it's somebody put up a picture of it. I don't remember where I saw it, but that's the rumor. I'm into it.
Damn it. Marvelous Mike says, after seeing that, I got one off Amazon. Very well built toy. That's very cool, man. I'm glad you got it. If you do something cool with it, let me know. Mikey from JMK Customs is here. What's up, dude? My word, I'm super late. Evening, gents in chat. Dave, I think you know Mikey Kukovic, John's son from Call Sign Longbow.
Yes. Yeah.
That's John's son, Mikey.
Okay, cool.
Good to see you, Mikey. Glad you're here. Now everybody's saying hi to Mikey. Moving. I just want to get caught up. Chronically says we ain't found shit.
you must be in Target.
Yeah. I don't doubt that about Star Wars oversaturation. Oh wow, this is when we were talking about the numbers. Bear 11 Charlie, I remember that's all I wanted for Christmas when Star Wars first came out. Damn, I'm old. Still scrolling. Oh, Rock Lords are cool.
Dude, I kind of like some of the Rock Lords.
George Aiken, Christmas 84. I remember getting the Z-Force Command Center, Z-Force, my bad, along with the tape of the Ghostbusters soundtrack. Oh, I still need that freaking.
Nice.
I still need that headquarters. I need it. So supposedly someone had a complete one at Joe Fest this year. And I was talking to George from Joe Fest, and he's like, yeah, there's a complete one there. Tony told me about it. And I'm like, I didn't see it, but
wow.
I wish I had.
But that's the thing about Joe Fest is you won't see everything. You just
Dude,
won't.
I couldn't even find Destro's Toy Den. You know how they had those new shirts this year?
Yeah.
And I kept walking around, and I'm like, where are they? And someone's like, well, they're in that like first row back, but they're like on the opposite side. And I just kept looking, and I never found them.
And
never.
then you see something cool, and then you run into somebody you know, and then you see something else cool, and you're like, what was I doing?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, this year at Joe Fest, let me read this real quick. I still remember one of my best Christmases, all G.I. Joe. I'll let you guess the year. One of the many toys I got was the Fang. Is that 85? 84?
85. Yeah.
Around there. So this year, people always give me crap, especially this dude right here. He loves to give me crap because, you know, everybody's outside in line. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not standing in this line. And I just went inside. But I did my Road to Joe Fest little live stream series. And Ed was my first guest because, you know, if you're going to do a Road to Joe Fest, you got to have freaking Ed Schumacher on first. And I asked him on the live stream, can I come in before doors and film? And he said, yeah, absolutely. So that's why I went inside beforehand. But all of my friends were like, oh, yeah, well, you know, when you're Chad, you don't got to wait in line. You just walk in the door and start buying stuff.
That's right.
I did that too. Because we were talking about restoring toys, right? My wife found me a Night Force Night Striker, the whale, right?
Oh.
And I started, she got me the shell. I've got it right here. Covered in dust. You could tell it's just been sitting in an attic or a basement. It's like caked in that dust, you know, that you scrape off.
Yeah.
It has the guns, it has the top glass, and it has the window glass on the sides. And I was like,
nice.
That's actually really good. And it was my buddy selling it. And I was like, how much do you want for that? I don't really like to talk about price because to me, it kind of takes away from the love of stuff.
Yeah.
But dude, it was dead cheap.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this much. And I'm like, you know what that is, right? And he's like, yeah, I don't, you know, it's you, like, whatever. And I was like, I told the ma'am, I was like, I think I'm going to come back for that. And then we went and did other stuff. And the ma'am kind of disappeared. As soon as she disappeared, I knew what she was doing. She was buying it. And she comes up with this bag and she's like, here you go. And I opened it and I was like, I fucking knew it, right? Because that's just how she rolls. And I started getting all the little pieces parts, the depth charges, the little depth charge arm, the this, the that. It didn't even have the wheels on the bottom, right? So I start slowly piecing everything together. The one thing I couldn't find were the shrouds for the vanes because they're round and they're brittle, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't find those shrouds. That was one thing I needed from Joe Fest. I walked right up to James Hitchcock, freaking Black Glove Mafia, and I was like, "Hey, bro, do you have the veins for a Night Force Night Striker?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, right there," in his little glass case that he has, with the
Oh,
neon
yeah, of
light.
course, of course.
And he had them original, unbroken,
Nice.
perfect. He had the pair. I went and bought an Action Diver lunchbox just so I could put those shrouds in the lunchbox, right? The metal
I've had
lunchbox.
to do the same thing before. You buy a container just to protect the thing you just got.
So Andrew says, I'll catch this on replay. Just wanted to drop in to give a thumbs up and say I really enjoy your Needless Things reviews. You cover a wide variety, and I appreciate that. That's very
Thank
cool.
you, man. I appreciate that. I like hearing that. I mean, I just have fun with stuff.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chad,
Andrew.
let me
That's
ask
really
you.
Cool.
So you mentioned it sounds like your wife is a lot like my wife, where it's not because you see the memes all the time of like, don't let your wife be the Indiana Jones boulder or whatever crazy thing it is about wives hating toy buying. My wife, I met her in a comic shop, so she understands what's going on here, and not only that, she facilitates what's going on here. So it's like I see that stuff and I'm like, well, let's chill out on the wife hate a little bit because some of them are pretty cool.
Oh yeah. My wife's freaking rad, man.
Yeah.
I actually met my wife, in the Army. So she's in the infantry like me. And we met, that's how we met. And she knew that I loved G.I. Joe, and she knew of G.I. Joe and she liked it. But then like through her relationship with me, and she's a collector too, like she collects My Little Pony and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
but through the relationship with me and her love of me and my love of toys, like she got in this with me. And then
Yes.
She started costuming with me in the Finest and all that stuff. And not this year, but because she came last year, she was the Baroness.
Okay.
She walked Arthur Burghardt when he came in, and he came in on the arm of the Baroness. That was my wife.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the ma'am dressed up as the Baroness.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, like I said, some of them are pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. She's totally into it with me. It's not so much that she loves having a Joe collection. She loves that I love this stuff and like it brings her joy. But yeah,
she supports
you. Loves costuming.
There's a decent portion of stuff in this room that came from my wife, like her finding stuff for me because that she wants to engage with it and she understands it's cool.
Yeah, my wife comes out here and she helps me build toys and all that stuff, and she hangs out with me. And when I get new figures to put them on, one of the shelves somewhere, I'll give it to her and I'll be like, hey, pose it and put them up. Like she posed my Croc Master fucking awesome with his foot on top of the Croc's head and stuff. And I loved it. And I never repositioned him because I just think it's cool. Will says they should have won an award for that Aero ATV. Yeah. A vehicle for $1 is amazing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
100%. And that's kind of one of those things too, where you look at like Chapmay puts out all these play sets, just left and right, and you see what Final Faction's doing. And then Hasbro would put out something like that and they would charge $40 for it.
Yeah, but again,
I understand larger companies have the overhead and stuff, but
we'll never know the reasons behind the numbers and the answer, corporate greed.
Yeah,
that's the answer to all these problems.
It really is at the end of the day. Beta Ray Bob says, I'm looking forward to seeing where Chapmay goes with the Acid versus Beta line. Yes, absolutely. Those look like they will be what you guys are calling toys.
Ooh, I'm going to have to look into that. I don't know anything about that.
The Acid versus Beta, they have figures in there that look like straight up like reimagined Battle Android Troopers. They're freaking awesome. World Made of Cardboard said, I had the Blockbuster too. I love the pom-pom guns. Yeah, the pom-pom guns are rad. I must go to Ollie's for Christmas. Chronically says, I've never seen anything good at Ollie's. Same with Ross, except for the time they had like 10 Obi-Wans when that was a figure that was hard to find.
It's funny how that varies from region to region, because normally I don't see anything at Ollie's, but every once in a while there'll be just like it's usually right before Christmas. The whole front of the store is like Marvel Legends and whatever else. Like
now you see people on like
varies.
Instagram and they're posting all these pictures of cases of frickin' Crimson Guard showing up.
Right.
$5. And then Jeremy says, yeah, I saw that Zed Force base at Joe Fest. I didn't even want to know how much it was. You should have told me, I would have bought it. Anyway. Beta Ray says, took me forever to find the chunky tank kitty, only to realize I passed it 3 or 4 times. Yep. Yeah. Because they were right there on that corner table. Yeah. World Made of Cardboard says, my Ollie says nothing. It's mostly junk and nothing cool.
Yeah.
And then Chronically says, it's Chad who doesn't wait in line. Nope. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to get that Chad bump.
I mean, I am a Chad, right? So at some point I have to flex my Chadness and just walk the fuck in there, man. But yeah, it's all good. And you know how it is, Dave. You've been around, man. Everybody knows you, like everybody knows you.
Some do.
Look, everybody knows you. Everybody knows me. I'm not trying to be that guy. And I just walk in, everyone's like, what's up, Chad? And I'm like, hey, what's going on, dude? Fucking strolling around. Nobody cared. That being said, the security this year was not very good, because this was the first year they ever came over the loudspeaker and said, basically, like, stop stealing shit. And Vala,
ooh, I missed that. That's rough.
You missed that? Yeah, they came over and it wasn't in those specific words.
Right, of course.
People stealing from vendors. And then because I was in there early, I went up, I was talking to Ryan and, all the Vala guys, and Bobby was telling me that they had already caught somebody trying to take boxed figures right off the front of the display.
Dude, that's...
And I'm like, what the fuck, man? I don't understand that. It bothers me to no end. People who go to toy shows just to steal shit. That being said, hey, Matthew Matson's here. What's up, dude? Says, finally caught up listening at 2 times speed. Hey, Matt. Started listening 40 minutes ago. DM'd you. Thank you. Me? DM'd me? Oh, did you get it? Let me know if you got it.
He was listening to the chipmunk version.
Yeah. That's okay. World Made of Cardboard had to go. We love you, dude. Thanks for being here. Samuel Edwards says, I'm looking forward to going back to Joe Fest next year. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
This year was the best year so far.
It was incredible.
It was fantastic, man. Beta Ray says, FYI, all of you giving Chad flack for going into Joe Fest early. If you follow him in early, the staff doesn't stop. Pro tip life hack. Yeah.
That's funny.
Pretty much, yeah. But that being said, I walked up to Ed and said, hey, is it cool if I come in and film now? And he said, yeah. So, whatever. It's all in who you know, people. That's how the world works. So Jeremy says, I've got 4 Ollies 40 minutes to an hour away from me. They all have tons of stuff, just nothing I need. Okay. There are no Ollies in New Mexico, so I can't. None of that. We have Big Lots. I have Big Lots, but no Ollies.
When did Big Lots go from being a discount store to being this is just regular price store?
I don't know.
Because it used to be you'd go in there and find like WWE figures for like $10, but now they're just regular price. It's weird.
Yeah. I don't know if there's like a hidden meaning in this. Chad's Night Striker is now a real veiny, triumphant bastard.
Good to know.
I get it, Veins. Yeah. No, it's not, because it still looks like this.
Oh, man, look at that.
Right? Like, it is just caked in freaking dirt. And you can tell this thing just needs love. The stickers
it just needs to be cleaned up.
But like, The sled door's gone. The wheels are gone. It has the cover. Has the cover, which is really hard to find. Like, if you know what you're looking at, it even has one of the frickin' missile pod arms that's unbroken. So I saw this and look, that's not even broken, which is rare. So I saw this and I saw the potential in this.
Yeah.
And the man bought it for me. But look, I mean, it still has the glass.
Yeah, that's wild.
And it has the glass here.
Like Johnny Cash said, one piece at a time.
One piece, yep.
Now it will cost you more than a dime.
Oh yeah, I'm lucky I got that shell. I mean, let's be honest, I paid $0 for it because the man loves me and the man bought it, but the shell was cheap enough to where once I'm done piecing that thing back together, it'll be financially like worth it.
Yeah. And it'll be fun. Like, it's not just about that, it's about the experience of putting it together.
And she bought me my shadow track. That's true, she did. So she got me the Red Shadow track last year for Christmas because she said, "What do you want for Christmas?" I said, "The only thing I want is a Red Shadow track from Palatoy. That's the only thing I want for Christmas. I don't need fucking toothpaste, none of that shit." And she got it. So Jeremy Kerr says, "I picked up the True Heroes AC 130, just need to paint it." Hell yeah, man. Did you get the green, tan, black camo one, or did you get the gray one like I have back there with the shark's teeth? Let me know. Beta Ray Bob says, "From what my friends' wives have said, they prefer their husbands to be into collecting geek stuff than other things they could be doing." Absolutely. That shit is 100% true because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I never did drugs, and I don't go out and party. I don't do any of that stuff. And my wife says all the time, like, you're into toys. Like, you're not into dumb shit. And I'm like,
toys
hell yeah.
keep you home.
Yeah, toys keep me home. 100%. Keep me home, keep me happy. Like, I'm always right here. The fucking door's right there. Just come on in and hang out. Like,
yep.
Ratface had to leave, said, "Have a great stream later, everyone." Thanks, buddy. Thanks for being here. And then he left. Jeremy says, "My bad." Oh, about the Zed Force headquarters? No, dude, it's cool. It's totally cool. And then Chronically says, "What? I don't know what we're talking about." Oh, what? Jeremy says, "Yeah, I heard about that thievery. That's messed up." Yeah, they did. Oh, cool. So I sent Matthew Matson the fucking not Bloody Pandora. Oh, Warpath Eclipse from Valor.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I sent him a Warpath Eclipse. So
that's awesome.
I'm glad you got it, dude. I'm sorry it's a little late. So, someone stole an Amazing Fantasy 15 at MegaCon. No way. That's like $40,000 gone in an instant.
So that's rotten and that's lousy and that's shitty. But how do you have an Amazing Fantasy 15 in a position where somebody could even steal it?
Yeah, there's that too. But then again,
yeah,
it's it's kind of one of those things that's like locks only keep honest people honest. And
right.
And
yeah, we were talking about that. We were talking about that at work today. Is like no matter how much security we put on anything, eventually it's all going to change because people are going to get around it.
Yeah,
because there's always going to be scum.
Yeah, that's true. And then I saw something on again, fucking social media, right? Because it's like the bane of everyone's existence. It's supposed to bring people together, and all it does is cause people to fight, which I hate.
Yeah.
Some dude broke out of prison, was running through like a residential area, broke into this guy's house, stole his shotgun, and then a bunch of people in the comments are blaming the dude who owned the shotgun. And I'm like, well, maybe if the guy was home, he would have fucking blasted the dude in the chest,
right.
And then we just would have been done with that.
Right, we wouldn't be talking about it.
Guy. Like a legal gun owner, you blame him, not the dude who escaped from prison. God forbid. It's like those are the kind of people where they like they sue McDonald's because their coffee's too hot, or they break into someone's house and fall down, and then they fucking sue them. You know, that to me, that's what's wrong with people.
And well, it's the people, but it's also the system that lets them do it.
That's true. That's true. That's true. I saw some shit a couple years ago. May have been 10 years ago. You know, you want to talk about like crazy stuff that you can't unsee. This older woman, like 60s-ish, bought an RV, put it on cruise control, went in the back of the RV. The RV fucking crashes and she sues the RV dealership.
Wow.
And she thought that it was like self-driving,
like autopilot.
She thought it was gonna fucking drive itself.
That's literally like a Mickey Mouse cartoon from like 1952.
Right? It's like, yeah, it's something that Goofy would do.
This is not a bad point.
It is. Yeah, that's why I pulled it up. Because Mikey's a fucking smart dude.
That's a pretty good observation. Actually, that would explain why Big Lots is just that's the price now.
So Mikey says Big Lots took Kmart's place, and then Jeremy says Ollie's took Big Lots.
They're 100% right. You guys have solved the riddle.
That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's kind of one of those. And then Roll Keeper says, "Okay, I'm filming." But that's kind of, you do see that. So you see vacuums get created for one reason or another, and there's always something that will fill your void.
No, baby.
Moving forward, gonna come in and we're gonna fill your void. Yeah, 100%. What is this? I just stick to the gum trick. What are you talking about, dude? Oh, Robert says, sadly, I smoke, drink, and toy. Hey, that's cool, man. If that's what you do, you do you.
Hey, whatever keeps you happy, as long as you're not hurting anybody else, whatever.
That's what life's all about, man. You do you. Just
that's right.
And that's always my thing. Like, I fucking hate classified. I think it's Marvel Legends cosplaying as G.I. Joe. I don't even call it G.I. Joe. I think it's fucking bullshit. That being said, just a personal opinion. What I won't do, Dave, is I won't come on your porch.
Right.
Fucking dumb for buying it. I will not do that. But when I have an opinion and you come into my shit and start flaming me, I'm gonna fuck you up.
That's what drives me crazy. Is like, I see something I don't agree with, and I just move on. Yeah, I don't need to let, like, if I go, this is, look here, this.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
I'll vent a little bit here. Every once in a while, you're on YouTube. You know how this goes. Every once in a while, you get a comment of somebody telling you how you should be doing your shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And you're like, why? What is the point of this? If you didn't dig it, just don't come back. If I go to a deli and they make a Reuben and I don't like the way the Reuben is made, I'm not going to go find the fucking chef and be like, buddy, you need to make your Reubens like this. I'm just not going to go back to that deli.
Yeah.
It's fucking weird, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, how do you like your Philly cheesesteak? Do you like it with the fucking, like the liquid cheese, or do you like it with real cheese? And that's that thing in Philly, right? Those two places.
Philly, they use Cheese Whiz, right?
Yeah. There's one that uses Cheese Whiz and there's another that doesn't. And those are it's the two Philly cheesesteak places that say, like, I was the first. No, I was the first.
Right.
Like what you like. If you like regular cheese or Cheese Whiz, I don't give a shit.
And go to the one, if you like the Cheese Whiz, go to the one that makes the Cheese Whiz. Don't go to the liquid cheese place and be like, pal, you need to be using Cheese Whiz.
Yeah.
That guy doesn't give a shit what you think about his cheese.
My two examples for any of that. Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. I love the Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
I love it. I do not like it when it's Nightmare Before Christmas.
I had this exact conversation recently.
Because I like pure Haunted Mansion. When they make it Nightmare Before Christmas, it's not scary. It's fucking goofy. Granted, I like the Nightmare Before Christmas, but don't fuck with my Haunted Mansion. Macaroni and cheese. I don't want green chili in it. I don't want jalapenos in it. I don't want bacon in it. I don't want ground meat in it. I just want macaroni and fucking cheese. Don't put ketchup in it. Leave it alone. And I just, like, those are the two things where those are always my examples. I don't like
brownies. Love brownies. Love a good brownie. If you put fucking walnuts in my brownie, I'm going to be so angry. And
Yep.
Chad, let me just tell you this. This is perfect. This is Kismet, perfect timing, because I'm about out of time here, but we have come full circle and we're talking about cooking again.
Fuck. Yeah, we are.
Dude, I have had an amazing time tonight. I got to bail out. I got about 10 more minutes. And
okay. Well, let's just get through the rest of the chat and then we'll
let's
call
do it.
But that being said, as I'm scrolling through the chat, why don't you tell me and all the lovely people hanging out with us, what do you got coming up next? And where can people find you? Which they should know.
Our next Needless Things YouTube channel, please go check it out. As we talked about earlier, I try to be positive, but my gosh, today I reviewed Firefly. Tomorrow I review Lowlight, and they're probably the most negative reviews I've put up in a long time.
Really?
Dude. Oof.
Dude, Anthony Romo posted a picture of that freaking retro Firefly, and all I could look at was the beautiful sculpting of his turtleneck. And I may not like it, but when it's art and when they get that sculpt right, I will fucking appreciate that.
The design of the figure is great. QC, man.
I heard the ab crunch is like fucked up.
He's floppy like Woody from Toy Story. It's ridiculous.
When I got that first wave Snake Eyes, because the man bought me the very first 2 waves of Classified all at once. Because again, she supports me and my love of Joe.
Right.
She just saw G.I. Joe and she was like, "Oh, you need all of these." And I was like, "I don't collect that scale, but I guess I'll give it a shot." And I tried. I did try, but I couldn't do it.
Wasn't for you.
I opened that Snake Eyes and he was like, blah, 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 blah. He sucked. Anyway, go ahead.
So Needless Things YouTube channel. Yeah, the shoulders are awful cavernous pits in the tops of his shoulders. Otherwise, pretty good. But anyway, Needless Things YouTube channel, Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, available wherever you get your podcast every single Friday. We do a live stream on the Needless Things YouTube channel every other Monday. Our next live stream is October the 9th, so check it out. We just have fun talking about G.I. Joe. You can check us out, Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, G.I. Joe Audible on X. Right. And that's all the stuff pretty much.
That's very cool. And better late than never. Ted from Hella Dope Toys is here. What's up, dude? Where's my fucking mug, Ted? Anyway, I love you, Ted. Rich says you guys rock. I've been rolling. Hell yeah, man. Do this
Rich
again.
Murphy, you are the man.
I would love to do it again with Dave. And Dave and I have been talking about this for a while. So
yeah, I started a new job, so it took me a little while to get everything coordinated.
Yeah, very cool. I think I'm oh yeah, look at this. Mug. Where's my mug? I did a car rant about Hella Dope Toys because I jokingly told them I was gonna, and they were like, "Yeah, do it." And so I did it just as a fucking joke, and they apparently they're gonna get me back. So I'm waiting on them to get me back.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, Dave. Well, I know you got to go. It's been like 2 hours, and we've had a lot of awesome people in the chat. I thank you all for being here, Dave. I thank you for coming to hang out with me, man, and for gracing me with your freaking awesome presence.
You've got an amazing crew here. Everybody in the comments has been absolutely. I see Kevin Riddle up there in the comments too. What's going on, man?
Oh yeah, right there.
You've got a great crew. This has been so much fun. Like I could sit here for 3 more hours fucking talking to you, man. This has been great.
Yeah, I'm really glad we got to hang out. What dirt, man? There's no fucking dirt on me. What are you gonna dig up? Oh, oh yeah. You know that one time that guy got a fucking Medal of Valor. You know how many other people have a Medal of Valor that I know of? Captain fucking America and nobody else. By all means, dig up dirt on me. Yeah.
This is great. We got a feud. I love it.
I'm just kidding. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with me and Dave. And Dave's gonna go, and I think I'm gonna eat a sandwich. I think I'm gonna have roast beef and cheese.
Are you gonna stay on for that?
Provolone, put a little spinach on it.
Everybody should stick around and watch Chad eat a sandwich.
You guys want to hang out, watch me fucking eat?
Do it.
No, you don't. That being said, next Wednesday I have. Wait one. Sorry, Dave. I know you got to go.
No, you're good.
You know how this is, man. We got to do calendars, right?
Yeah.
But I have every Wednesday booked all the way through November.
Nice.
Oh, next Wednesday, Grindhead Jim's hanging out with me. And this Sunday, M. Vargo and Drew G from Drew's Toy Box are going to be hanging out with me. I'm going to do another Sunday stream just before Hella Dope Toys. So
Sundays are good.
Yeah.
We've had to do a couple on Sunday, and they end up really, really good turnout.
Yeah. Sunday, it was always me and then Hella Dope and then Sunny and then Sunny's channel. And we kind of all had this like Sunday night thing going on where I was really rocking and rolling with the Neon at Night about the 90s Joes, but Nick's busy and, you know, I got stuff going on too. So
yeah.
Neon at Night kind of took a pause, but I'm going to be hanging out with M. Vargo and Drew G this Sunday. And then next Wednesday, I got Grindhead Jim. So thank you so much for hanging out with me, Dave. And I will catch your next show. You know, I'll be there.
Dude, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out, and I can't thank you all again for always hanging out with me on Wednesday because you guys are the ones that make this fun. And Dave, you want to sign us off?
Yeah, absolutely. You know how we do an Audible interlude, so before we go, we got to give everybody until next time. Yo, Joe.
Yeah, buddy. Have an awesome day.